coping with the struggles, like the family or Jake.
So yeah, Jacob's been in therapies since he was 2. Occupational therapy, speech therapy, developmental therapy at first. He doesn't do that anymore. He does do speech therapy still. Everything that he does or is able to accomplish in school has to be done in a modified version for him.
Yeah.
But his struggle has always been that he has a hard time to comprehend, decode, and process auditory information. So if you're talking to him, it takes him a really long time to process that. And if it's words he's unfamiliar with, he never would. You know, he has a really hard time with comprehension. He's doing better with that now, and that's why he's been able to learn. That's why he's been able to go farther in school. And he's come a long way over the last several years. He's in 8th grade, and, you know, we're talking about, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, I would have told you that he would never go to college. He would never live in a house by himself, and now that's really unclear for me. He wants to go to college. He wants to go to recorder college, which is, he wants to be a videographer, which is great, you know. Jacob's always seen the world through a viewfinder because it's safer for him, and that's a good thing. You know, I see college as a real possibility for him. Whether or not he lives alone or if he needs someone to keep him safe, I have no idea at this point. But, you know, 5 years ago, I would have told you that would never happen, that he would always live in our spare bedroom. And he even says now that, you know, when I go to college, I'm going to stay with you at 69 Park Street. I'm going to live there forever. When I get married, I'm going to live there with you. And that's awesome. But even a few years ago, he was not going to college. He was never getting married. He wasn't going to ever move out of his bedroom that he's in right now. And he's already starting to think like a teenager. You know, like, I could go to college someday. Where am I going to go to college? How am I going to go? How am I going to know what to do? He's having all the same questions as an 8th grader would normally have. Yeah. So that's really cool because he's starting also to be able to see himself as a separate person from me, which I don't always help, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is good. So you talked about like therapies and stuff like that. What type of therapy do you think helped Jacob the most, or you've seen him mostly improve from the help he's got, or just a space that he's greatly improved in?
Probably when
kind of
he
just
was
said it, but I mean
3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. He
went to a developmental program that did ABA, which is Applied Behavioral Analysis, and discrete trials. And he went from Jacob, the nonverbal kid who throws meltdowns, has meltdowns all the time, hitting me, to the kid who could now handle going to church and could handle changes in his schedule. I mean, not all the time, but it really made our lives better. Occupational therapy and that time frame also helped with that because he had a lot of sensory needs, and they taught us how to fix those or to make him more comfortable in the skin that he's in. Granted, the last 2 years he's grown exponentially and become more independent exponentially than he ever has. So ABA and OT saved our lives when he was young, and we had 2 other kids to really worry about and try to get, what's the word I'm looking for? Try to get to a place where our family was comfortable.
Yeah.
In public, it was hard to leave the house for a while. To now, he's social. We can't keep him down. He wants to go to every event. Can't wait to get to a basketball game as part of show choir, and still doesn't want anybody looking at him, but doing a good job.
That's good. So what do you actually, before you get to that question, what was I going to say? There's a question I had. Do you think age has to do with a factor of?
Yes.
Because you said how.
Yeah. Because even when he was younger, and I know that he was just getting therapies and he was doing all of those things, and all of those things have brought us to where we are now.
Yeah.
Each of them added something. But as he gets older, he matures in another fashion. It's all those hormones and all the things that come absolutely normal to the human body that is helping him to develop into some, you know, an older being. When he was little, I just never saw him as an adult ever. You know, not that many parents do, but I couldn't even picture what that would look like. And now it's just happening before my eyes.
Getting too big. Is there anything else that you would like to add, or anything that comes to mind?
No, I guess just that instrumental in Jacob's life would be his younger siblings. What Olivia does for him, what Gabe does for him, is made him who he is.
Yeah.
And that they often can get through to him or help him change a behavior or do something different in ways I never can.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I'm long gone, they'll still be the ones here caring for and being his support system. So
do you see like different types of help from each of them, like, or do they kind of like help them in different ways or the same ways, or?
Well, Gabe feels he's in constant competition.
Yeah.
So they're not close in the way of, you know, they're brothers. They're certainly brothers, and they're in constant competition with one another, and they drive each other crazy. But I think when they're older, Gabe will fall into that role of, you know, he's not going to coddle him, but he'll be there for him, you know. Olivia, on the other hand, is a little mother, and if he's doing something wrong, she takes care of it. If he's heartbroken, she is. She's crying right alongside him. He come home from a dance a month or so ago, maybe 2 months, where he was promised a dance by a girl, and then she never ended up dancing with him, and he was brokenhearted. He cried for like 3 hours, and so did Olivia. You know, she just felt so bad that they didn't follow through, and he was really looking forward to it, and he waited right up until the last dance, and still it didn't happen, and she was brokenhearted, and so was he, and she just, you know, she's going to be the one that forever takes care of him and is always the one that's, you know, supporting and backing him up.
Okay, I think that's pretty much all I have to ask.
All right.
Thank you.